Hello, and welcome back to my base in a box. So if we turn on something, just a minute, where are we? Show FPS. Okay, so FPS currently is around the 30s. It does go down, it does go up, but it's generally in the low 30s. It dropped way down, and to the point where it was a bit frustrating to play the game. And I got annoyed and started trying to find out what was going on. So there are a bunch of debugging tools which can potentially help us. There we are. So this is the debugging option to show timings. And basically this is telling you where Factorio is burning its CPU cycles. So at the moment, updates are taking on average 25, whatever these units are. And frames are taking on average 24. Right, we need to get that number way down because those are the numbers which are throttling our UPS and our FPS. Now, nearly all of the frame cycle is waiting for update. So if we can fix the update, we also fix the frame cycle. The update of 24-ish on average, 24-ish of that is coming from game update. And of that, 13 of the 20 is coming from entity update. Now there are some other offenders. So nearly 2 is going to electricity network. 1.5 to trains, but basically it's the entity updates. I have been through and done some things, so I've been trying to find out what may be the problem. What's going on? Okay. That's better, okay. Yeah, they're toggling now. All right, so I've been trying to find out what might be the impacting thing. And I've tried a few things. So if you remember, we built all our modules to have SR latches. Excuse me, I'm drinking a cup of tea. There's obviously a circuit network attached to each SR latch, and that could be costing us cycles. Equally, when the SR latch is turned off, that module is powered down. Apparently when modules are powered down, they go into a permanent on loop. That could have been the problem. Then I have various builds on clocks. That could have been the problem. I haven't tested clocks, but I have tested the SR latch by deleting it and just putting a pole in its place. And I've tested whether it is the powered off entities by running around the map and putting down electric energy interfaces over everything. Neither of those significantly impacted the timings. So I've been running the factorial double dash benchmark thing for 1,000 and for 10,000 ticks on each save. And nothing made any difference until I ran a console command to kill all biters. That made a huge difference. So my rate went down from 34 to 27 when I did that, arbitrary units. I think that's updates per second maybe? No, it's seconds per it's milliseconds per update, I think. Anyway, so killing off all the bugs, killing off all the pollution. Killing the pollution took away a little bit, but it was killing the bugs, which was the major thing. That was something like a 30% performance increase. So we're now in the world with the bugs killed. And with the bugs killed, we have an FPS, UPS of around 30. Okay, so what can we do next? So apparently creative mode is using a little bit of UPS. These mods, to be honest, aren't what's making the difference. It's the entity updates. That's 15 out of 24, so that's more than 50%. All right, what can we do about that? So if we go to map view, here's the base. And we can turn on a debugging menu. Let's see if we can clean this up. Okay, so on this, I don't want to show time usage or FPS. There we are. Okay, so this has the following things turned on. It has show active chunks. So active chunks are shown in purple. They are chunks that are being actively recomputed. And obviously if a chunk is being actively recomputed, that is some CPU. Show active entities in chunk. This is the numbers. So if we zoom in here, okay, this area here, oh, there's what looks like a worm. Let's kill that. Right, so we get some numbers. Now, the red number is how many of my entities are working. So things like furnaces, arms, assemblers, so on. The blues are how many living things there are in there. So in this case, we're around water. There's one thing here, two things here, they will be fish. Okay, so if we were to go around the map and defish everything, that would remove all of these numbers and we'd be back to these chunks having 0 stats. I think possibly if there are trees which are responding to pollution, that would be listed on here in blue. And then green is, I believe, gun turrets. So they're things which want to shoot stuff. Okay, so we've got 2 active chunks here. Okay, in a moment, those active chunks will cease to be active, hopefully. Right, so you can see the chunks becoming active as the shell goes through them. Yeah, so that's gone back there. And then if we look in here, we can't see in there. There is an activity in here now to decay that worm carcass. Okay. I thought I'd killed all enemies from a command line, so I don't know why there are still worms lying around. Alright, what else can we do? Right, I think that's the other one. So this is map view. Now, if we zoom in here, this is our perimeter wall. This chunk is active. And we're showing 13, you probably can't see that very well, let's turn that off. 13 of my entities are alive in this chunk. Okay, if we zoom in, what are those 13? And they're the things which don't have... See, and this is where I'm a bit stuck. I can't see what the activity is here. Okay, so there's some boxes and some circuits. So I don't know if the boxes and circuits are active. I don't know if it's these pipes. And it's frustrating because, right, so here's another block. This has 8 active things. This has 17. This has 9. Okay, so there's 9 active things in here, in this region, and I can't see which ones it is. So there's a couple of fish there, and I would just really like to be able to find out what is active and how to get rid of it. Right, so if we deconstruct all this, okay, there are some bots coming now. So we did have 9 active things. Let this all get cleared up. So we still have 9. So it wasn't trees. Okay. Could it be... Okay, so I've taken these apart and my active count has gone down to 6. 3. 2. Okay, so I wonder if my issue here is pipes. Still got 3 and 2, but we've got some drones flying around in the area. Okay, let's delete this. Okay, so that's now inactive. So the thing that was making this active, was it the pipes or was it the turrets? Okay, so this has 4 active items. Let's delete 1, 2, 3, 4 pipes. Now it has 2 active items. Now it has no active items. Okay, so it looks like we are keeping a whole lot of chunks alive because they contain fluid transmission of some sort. Okay, so that's something we can optimize. I will do that off camera, but basically we can pull up all of our perimeter piping, because it looks like the perimeter piping is keeping chunks alive. It looks like the fluid calculations are being done even when there's nothing to be calculated for the fluids. Okay, so I'm just going to delete all this and we will see if that brings our counts down towards 0 for all these chunks. Let's do it up to there. Okay, and there's still something active in this one. I don't know, we haven't... Oh, it's probably some bots flying around. Okay, so that's one thing, which is nice to have found out. Okay, so this is oil. And 32, 54, 94, 61, 16, 18. So there are 94 active entities here. Okay, so there's several chunks here. Now, can we turn on grids? That might be easier. Let's find it. Show tile grid. That's it. Okay. So we have 2 by 3 active here, and that's these 2 by 3. So it is just this area. We've managed to only activate this little area where we are. And it looks like all the pipes and all the pumps are active even though they aren't doing anything. So, first thing, it's really important then to minimize the number of pipes you have. Secondly, let's test something. All right, so if I grab, do I have any pipes? No, but I can make some easily enough. Let's head over and grab a bit of iron. We will make some straight pipes and some underground pipes, and we will see how it counts them as entities. Because if we really are doing entity minimization, this is the game we need to play. Okay, let's grab some out of the train. I think I'm auto-trashing. Okay. Right, so 200 of those. Let's move down to somewhere which is otherwise inactive. Great. Okay, so I can craft some underground and some pipe. And we can count the action, the live and not live activity of these things. Okay, if I put down a roboport, so there are 3 active items in this square currently. I pick the roboport up, there are none. Is that right? No, there are 2. Okay, I'm in a bad place because there's some coal. Yeah, so there's only 1 active thing in this chunk, presumably me. Put down a roboport. There are 2. Okay. I want to power this roboport. Okay. So there's 2 active entities. The power pole doesn't seem to count as active, and the roboport appears to be active regardless of if it is powered or not. Yeah, 1 active entity. 2. Okay. Okay, so let's put down some pipe. So that's 5 pipes, and we have 6 active entities. So pipe are always active. Okay, and then let's do an underground. And that counts as 2 active entities. Okay. So we have 4 active entities in here. That is me plus 3 bits of pipe. 1, 2, 3. Yes, because this is outside. Okay. So having a, let's check that. Let's put a pipe in here. Okay. So there's 1 active entity, which is the pipe. That square is being recalculated, even though that pipe doesn't connect to anything. Doesn't have any fluid in it. Isn't flowing. But that's keeping that chunk of the map live. Good to know. All right. Okay, I'll put some rail down, and that chunk's inactive. Nothing active in that one. So rail doesn't make something active. Let's put in a signal. Okay, so again, signals don't keep chunks active. And just to double check, yeah, again, chain signals don't either. Okay, so rail isn't a UPS issue in and of itself. All right, so what can we see? Okay, when trains pass through chunks, those chunks become active. That's reasonable. They've got a train in them. And then they appear to stay active for a little bit after the train has gone past. Then this is staying active with one item. Yeah, it's this chunk here that's active. And I can't see... Oh, the radar. Okay, so radars are always active. Here's the next one. This has one active thing in it. This has a radar. Okay, so having a radar in a chunk keeps that chunk alive. Again, good to know. There's a bunch of one active item chunks in here. Okay, there's a roboport. Yeah, those are roboports. Okay, so we deleted a bunch of stuff around here that were pipes. They've been collected. We have 4 items left in this chunk, apparently. Okay, so these arms are putting onto the floor. And they don't have a circle through them of any type. So these arms here, which are inactive, have a red circle through them. These ones which are putting onto the floor are active. Okay, so that's 3 of those. So that would be 3 items, and there's a pipe there we missed. Okay. Great, so because they're marked for deconstruction, they're no longer active. We've got rid of that active chunk. Okay. Okay, we have an active chunk out here apparently. Presumably these are old biters. I don't know. Okay, so one thing is active in here. It's an arm which doesn't have a turret by it. Okay. So arms without something to put the item into are a UPS sink. Right, let's have a look down here. Right, this is fairly straightforward what's going on here. We are building our solar panels, and there are lots of things going on. Okay, I wish there was a setting here where you could zoom in for debugging purposes despite... yeah, but these high numbers of active things are the construction bots flying through. You can see them flying through as the numbers tick up and tick down. Okay, then in a minute there'll be a place where they sort of stop. They seem to be, I think they're building this bit here or around here. Okay. Interesting. So, what next? I wish I knew how to turn off station names. They're quite annoying. All right, so this site is off. Now I haven't been through and done the electricity changes. Right. So the inserters into unpowered chests are permanently active, which can't be good. The inserters on powered chests are not permanently active, so that's a UPS drain. So the inserters here are mostly inactive except when they're swinging, and that's what we want to see. Yeah. And then it looks like most of the activity is in the middle chunks, but basically you have a 3x3 block of chunks here which have activity, and then this one out here, yeah, this one's kind of, the problem is the fluid. Okay, so I'm seeing something else here. This build, if I'd shifted it down a few tiles, would have fitted within a 3x3 block of chunks, and then I would have had 9 active chunks rather than 12. Okay, so maybe next time I do this kind of thing, it's worth trying to align my builds so that the builds fall inside chunks. Now, I don't know if it would in this case. Okay, let's see. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 squares here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have enough squares. So I could have picked up this build, shifted it down 8 squares. These would be within this area, and we would have a 3x3 chunk build rather than a 3x4 chunk build. Similarly, looking at it, okay, so this is using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we could have shifted this build sideways in the other direction, and we could have ended up with a 2x3 build instead of a 4x3. So that would have saved us half of our active chunks. Okay, we wouldn't have any fewer active entities, but there'd be fewer active chunks with those entities in. That's quite surprising. So nearly all these builds have ended up being 3 wide. So this one here, could we have... And then there's a question about exactly which entities are the ones that matter. So this chunk is active, although I can't see a count. This one is active with 4 items. Okay, we have our circuitry here, so that's 2 of them. So again, I could have moved the circuitry into this chunk. This has a box which is being read, so possibly that counts for something. I don't know. I don't know where the... What I need is a second circle, which is the active ones rather than the inactive ones. Okay. So we've found out that turning off machines is bad because the inserters going into them are always active. All right, let's have a look at a smelter build, because these are the really freaky ones. Okay, so this here is actively smelting, and there is 300 nod, so 600. There's no way this could be fitted within 2x3, but it could have been fitted in within 3x3 without falling out into these bottom ones. Okay, let's zoom in. Now, I'm expecting that nearly everything that's active here is a bot. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. All right, let's do another test. Do I have any beacons on me? Can I handcraft beacons? No. Okay. I'm going to fly home and get some beacons because I want to test if beacons alone cause a chunk to be active. So if I was to have the beacons in one chunk and have... Yeah, if I had the beacons in one chunk and I had... Whoa, this is nasty. Right, let's turn that debugging off because it's just horrible. Okay, I want to request a stack of beacons. I want to request a stack of assemblers. I've got some arms. I've got some boxes. So yeah, we can work this out. Then we'll fly off to a bit of map which is currently inactive and we will see if you can align beacons across boundaries and whether that activates the chunk. Okay, so I have my assemblers, I have my beacons, I have some iron plates. Okay. Let's find a bit of space up here. Okay, so we're in a nice clean chunk. Let's put down an assembler that's inactive. So if we go zoom out, there's one active thing, me. Okay. Let's see if we can find some power somewhere. Okay, and substation. Yep, still only me that's active. Right, let's put down an assembler. We're going to move this strategically to there. Okay. And we can set a recipe for this. Let's make pipes. Okay, and we're going to have a stack inserter. Okay. Okay, so that's running. And there are between 2 and 3 active entities. So that is the assembler and the arms. Okay. Cool. So let's put down a beacon. Get me to walk away so I'm not in the chunk. Okay, so it looks like that square with the beacon in is active. And I'm looking for the count and not seeing it. Let's head down here and turn off the... Okay, so the chunk is active despite there being no active entities. Okay, so if we want to minimize the number of live chunks, we can't put beacons in them. Good to know. Okay, looks like the plane is always active, but you know, never mind. This radar is always active even when it's unpowered. Okay, rail stops are always active. So any chunk with a rail stop in is an active chunk. Nope, these active chunks have radars. Okay, then why is this active? Let's go back. So move me out of that square. It's being kept active for some reason. But I can't see any entity in there. Okay, let's delete the rail stop. Okay, and it's no longer active. Weird. Okay, so sometimes rail stops seem to be making things active. Maybe it's a question of whether they have some kind of circuit network condition attached or not. I don't know. Okay. So let's head up to our smelter build, because this is the most prolific build in the whole map. Right, and we've already established that we might be able to shift it around so that it's in a 3x3 grid, so that these ones would only be active when there were trains in them. What else though? Okay, we can turn off the chunk grid because that's not helping us anymore. That's better. Okay. Okay, so these filter inserters are on a clock. However, the clock they seem to be flickering on and off active regardless. Let's just watch this again. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this clock. All right, so this is an inactive chunk. Okay. Okay. So this has 3 active entities and it's constantly at 3. It's got these 3 logic things. So it looks like the logic things are permanently active.
Hello.
Hello, Xander. My little boy's just come in to say hello. Right, if we... Let's grab a filter inserter. Right, I will actually take this one. Okay. And
What is that?
what's that? That's my laptop, darling.
Yeah. I want to see.
Okay, so we're setting the filters. It's going to move things from a box to a box. Okay, so it was permanently active until there was somewhere to take from, or to put to take from. Okay. So that's, so if I get back out of that square, it's saying there are 3 active entities, then it's ticking up to 4 and then back down to 3. Yeah.
You want to take the station?
Whereas
Hello?
that doesn't have any active entities. So maybe I need to remove all clocking. So that's the next thing I'm going to try. So there's a couple of things to do next. I'm going to go through the map. I'm going to remove all the SR latches and the associated calculations. And I'm going to remove all the clocks. And then I'm going to rerun the benchmarking. Thank you for the rabbit. And I'm going to see if that improves things. Okay, well, that's a lot of make work. I will do it off camera. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.